Just another day writing an Elden Ring Nightreign script from the hip. Gonna do some presuming here. Do some alliteration here. Ah yes, this painting is all starting to come together. I'm not even real, just some disembodied voice you're allegedly hearing right now. But who's gonna believe you? No one's gonna believe you. You may have seen the Executor painting in the Shrouded Round Table hold. Here, I'm going to paint you a beautiful picture of what a well-practiced Executor plays like. Better than anything you've ever seen. So good, I'm even going to do this solo run for Fulgor the Darkdrift Knight Deathless. You didn't see anything. So you guys like trying to chill? Or? Executor is a mysterious character, having a remembrance questline mentioning the Golden Order and the lands between quite a bit. This is notable because the game takes place outside of that canon. So we get into the canon of Elden Ring Nightreign, a game that the developers themselves seem to kind of just get out of Dodge for whenever asked about it. Kind of reminds me of myself when people ask me what I do. In Elden Ring, we see the painter's shed with a mysterious painter always ahead of us in our journey. It's not clear at first if the Executor is this painter based on his remembrance, or if he's the Crucible Knight we encounter throughout his questline. His storyline is as follows. A mysterious painter is called to defend the lands of Limveld from the Land of Reeds. He seems to have very little actual memory of his past beyond his origin. Progressing his remembrance, we first encounter Altus Blooms, a flower specifically known to grow in the lands between from Elden Ring. We then encounter a golden seed being guarded by the Erdtree avatar, or an Erdtree avatar. One sec. Irrefutable proof that the Executor is in some way connected to the canon of Elden Ring. However, after this point, it becomes a bit more questionable. What did you expect? Fromsoft to make this easy? No way, nothing's easy. Not for me, not for you, not for you, not for you. Now I'm about to actually spoil his remembrance, so skip ahead to this time code to avoid that. Time's running out, buddy. Come on. Somehow a painter determined to paint the Erdtree from Elden Ring was being guarded by two Crucible Knights. One of those was the Executor, who we see commit seppuku over his failed charge as dead body. But as the Executor's journal and the Iron Menial tells us, the Executor himself is somehow both the painter and this now dead Crucible Knight, and that the body we now occupy is some inanimate frame propelled by both the painter's will and the Crucible Knights. Also, the cursed katana Suncatcher is important to that revelation. What, I didn't tell you this was gonna make sense. I'm going over the lore intentionally quickly here, but the main conclusion I want to reach is this. The Executor's name is notable because he seems to actually be a manifestation of the will of the painter and the Crucible Knight to protect what they once failed to do in life. Playing as a spirit, and the question becomes, what are we in now as the night fares? But some sort of afterlife. I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions about that. I'll admit that the thoughtfulness of the stories included in Nightreign has surprised me somewhat. On to the part where you get to serve cunt as a badass swordsman. Executor will fuck you up because he is actually kind of cool. He has an S scaling in dexterity and S scaling in arcane, meaning you can make bleed. Do you bleed? If you do, you will. Or something like that. Like that Zack Snyder movie about the animals says. You know, like Dougal in the Journey to the TV Tyrant's house. You guys think, was that funny? Do you like that or me? Executor grasps the material reality he lives in. He gets Sword. Sword can be powered up using relics. He has abilities. Relics, though? Those are funny things with Executor. It's like they tried to make all of Executor's character-specific relics suck. I mean, you can't tell me that various HP restorative and reductive effects are equivalent to being able to use marking, motherfucking marking, twice as Iron Eye. So yeah, your little Overwatch ult and your swords are all you get with Executor. It's just the game telling you, fuck you, you stupid little shit. Sort of like what I tell myself when I start the writing process. I just like gibberish into a Word document until it becomes intelligible. Relics that do work for Executor are out there though. They just require a little bit of work to get. Instead of randomly getting dropped an overpowered relic that effectively doubles your combat capability with an already strong character like Iron Eye, You should beat a couple of bosses first. Which bosses? Let me tell you. Caligo is a pretty fun, marginally difficult boss. I don't really think he's a solid matchup for Executor, or at least I'm not terribly good at fighting him solo, because that douche just does this shit, where he flies around and makes me wait. So yeah, negate that with Iron Eye from a range. But once you kill Caligo, he drops this fucking sick relic, where you can get Chilling Mist applied to your sword, which is fucking sick, Frostbite on your enemies, which makes you invisible, which is fucking sick, and Frostbite afflicted enemies raises your attack power, which is fucking sick. Preference is one-handed katana swinging, then one-handed katana swing. If your preference is two-handed katana swinging, then do two-handed katana swinging. But your hits will be faster with one hand, so I use that personally. But your hits hit harder with two hands, so sometimes I don't use one-handed swings and instead use two-handed swings. It's a dichotomy of choice between two things that don't really make a difference. I mean, we're playing a game here, you and me. Isn't it silly, this little game we play?
You see, you thought you all could get together and play your little games. Have some fun, you know? Invite some geeks to the ball. Swap some stories, have a laugh. But you took it a little too far.
Use whatever weapon you want, but actually you should probably just use katanas. The Executor also benefits from relics that add a poison effect to your weapon and relics that add a benefit to attack power from poison. The Knight of the Wise relics from the Sentient Pest Expedition is good for the poison and the buff. Or you can just use any of the relics that have any of those effects independently and that'll also work. As for the attack power, you unfortunately have to roll for that lucky relic. Wait. If you stack effects for status on Executor with relics, you can just voraciously delete the knights that can populate the center castle. First goes Frost, then goes Poison, then goes Bleed. Then they're dead. You can just put squares under their health bar. So many status effect squares to be seen. Honestly, as someone who avoided the boring, overpowered status playstyles in Elden Ring for so long after getting bored of them, man, that's rough. Feels good to play as Executor in Elden Ring Nightreign. Acting coolly like the man with no name, Executor is the samurai katana character, aptly cutting down his foes, except with his katana character, instead of like Sanjuro from Yojimbo or something, he's more like a machine gun of status effects on your weak enemies. I hope the afterlife isn't real, so I never have to face Akira Kurosawa for this reference. The irony is, with the right relics, Executor can feel incredibly destructive. What's strange and or weak, depending on your viewpoint, is not many of those are the ones that seem specifically made for Executor. The ones that do fit Executor, to sum it up, are the strikingly similar effects of 1. Boosted katana attack power, 2. Attack power boosted with 3+ katana equipped, attack power boosted when facing poison afflicted enemy, attack power boosted when facing frost afflicted enemy, Chilling Mist on weapon or starting armament inflicts frost, and starting armament inflicts poison. Executor starts with a katana which has inherent bleed. I mean, shit is great. Dude, Executor viciously slashes away with his katana. You need me to say more? He's like a fucking samurai, dude. you know what I mean? A fucking samurai, bro. You know, the damage you can see with Executor is of the crazy Gonzo variety. Rivers of Blood will just knock colossal chunks out of a giant boss's health bar. Which maybe makes them my favorite to fight as Executor, but also, I think another notable factor of Executor is there aren't many bosses I find Executor has to take special care against. He's actually a surprisingly well-rounded Nightfarer in the broadest sense. He does have terrible HP early on, which is not fun to go up against the Bell-Bearing Hunter. Like, fuck, what the fuck were they thinking when they made that guy? He has way too much health, he doesn't have a special ultimate stagger animation, he does dangerous damage. I mean, he's fucking dangerous, man. Like, fuck. But there aren't any real terrible matchups for Executor. Strong defensive enemies like shield-bearing Crucible Knights aren't actually that strong against Executor due to his speed. And his skill, which we'll get into. Wait, The Executor has favorable matchups versus Crucible Knights. What are the lore implications here? I'm proud of myself. I understand my own incoherent references to the story of a game which has a high likelihood to be forgotten by its own developers. I mean, it really is something. Executor has some interesting lore, but since this video is intended to actually transfer the modicum of knowledge I've acquired about playing this character, or at least as far as the script goes, I'll hold off on talking about that for now. Reaching the Night Lord as Executor isn't too hard if you stack status effects on your Executor, but sometimes you might actually want to use his skill in combat, Suncatcher. Fromsoft helped make this old game where you used a katana. In the game, you would deflect attacks with this katana, and you played as a shinobi and invoked classic dueling imagery from classic samurai films, which is shockingly similar to what Executor does. If you remember the name of the game, shout it out now. Go down to the comments and type it out. Did you get it? It was... Tenchu. I'm funny, dude. I don't care. I'm funny. Anyway, where was I about swords? Suncatcher is a callback to Sekiro, which is fun. It really feels like FromSoft was trying to incorporate several different playstyles that replicate past experiences you could have in FromSoft games. I think Duchess uses dodging intended to replicate the Bloodborne style of combat, and while it's more forgiving, Executor skill is intended to evoke Sekiro's shinobi deflective style of combat. Executor, for this reason, works surprisingly well as an introductory character to the game. There isn't a single Night Invader boss you can't guard into a stance break with Suncatcher, but also, only relying on Suncatcher doesn't do great damage, even with his relics that boost it. A bit like how watching my videos will help you understand empathy, but also teach you to clock people you should
exit conversations with as soon as you hear a word they say out in the real world.
Hey, I missed this buff. Let me just jump up here and grab it.
I know what that is!
The most noticeable difference between Nightreign's Executor and Sekiro's Sekiro is the fact that the stamina bar is clearly there in Elden Ring Nightreign. Meaning, you're once again back to playing a stamina management, Souls-like style of combat, as opposed to Sekiro's pensive, reactive style of play. However, properly deflecting with Suncatcher does use minimal stamina, but missing your deflection results in either a complete drainage or radical drainage of your stamina bar, or you take damage. Suncatcher does also have a draw deflect and sheath deflect mechanic too, where drawing out or sheathing your sword at the right time will result in the deflection of an enemy attack. But I usually just do this accidentally. I have footage of it in here somewhere, but I've got to find it. And you know, there's like way too much of it, man, and just fuck you. Guarding about 3 to 4 to 5 attacks in a row with Suncatcher levels up the sword to its better state. The sword has a skill attached to it where when it glows, you can press the button and do a damaging lunging slash. Power your sword to its powered up state to use it at its full power. Man, I'm so good at words, dude. It's insane. It's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy. Oh, check it out. You made it this far in the video. You know what that means. It's time for me to tell you it'd be really nice if you subscribed, liked, or commented. Maybe you could do more than one of those things. Maybe you could do all 3. I don't know. Pick your favorite combination. Either way, it really helps me. I usually do a bit here where I make a joke, but I don't have time for jokes right now. I'm gaming. Oh shit, I don't usually say something so embarrassingly personal about myself out loud. Well, now that we're this close, perhaps you'd like to subscribe to finalize our budding bond with one another? Executor paradoxically might have the worst character-specific relics, but also get the most out of relics. I don't know, like maybe Revenant or Recluse, but might also have the most unique ultimate in the game, turning into a fully controllable monster complete with a dodge-dash type thing. After hours playing as Executor, I still haven't found a more effective use of this than just spamming his light and heavy attack for about 2 or 3 combos, and ending it in his Crucible swipe skill. Oh, I should also mention, using it for revives, cover great distances to get to your allies and revive them. Maybe one of the better ultimates in the game for that type of thing. Continuing on my point about his use of relics, though the Executor with the right relics I find is so strong, I'll literally be at the crater shifting Earth, waiting for the day 2 boss to spawn, having gotten absolutely everything I want out of the map. And I'm not even using the Evergel relic because that thing is way too overpowered, so I haven't even and don't need to get any of the Evergels. And I do this in every video, but just want to go serious mode for a second here. Just want to use this opportunity to say I really hope they nerf the Evergaol relic that you get from the collector signboard. It's really good, and it's really good that it's so good, and it's too good that it's really good. So if they do nerf it, I really hope they use the idea I saw, and I'm really sorry. I would credit you if I knew who you were, but I really think I just saw this in a YouTube comment somewhere. But they should take the effect of the 5% damage buff from beating an Evergaol and just apply it passively to the map of Nightreign. As in, the relic no longer exists, and every benefit you get simply exists for beating an Evergaol as part of the expedition. I think that would solve the homogenization we're seeing of playstyles across Nightfarers and players, because it would add in a relic slot again. Basically, you would get to use your relics, and a third slot would be available for something more specific to each character, frankly. So if they do that, I think would solve the problem, and I really hope they do that. And as of this recording, there is a patch coming, so hopefully we see it fixed there. Crack. It's almost like I forgot Executor as a passive. Executor as a passive, folks. His passive is situationally useful, which is probably why I forgot it. If you incur a status effect on yourself, you will gain like a 20% damage bonus after you heal from it. If that sounds, frankly, mediocre, it's because it is. It does mean after you've healed from the status effect, so you don't get like this effect for getting poisoned or something only after you've recovered from the poison, which I think is pretty terrible. Since that's how Executor's passive works, if you have a weapon like Seppuku, inflicting blood on yourself will activate the status effect, but like I don't really know of any better uses for it. So sue me. Actually, please don't. But who knows? Maybe there's like a pro Executor out there who's gonna shit on me in the comments, and I would deserve it. It's not like I'm not open to learning and receiving information anyway. Bully away. Just know that there's a real person being bullied on the other side. Knowing that, I hope you can take some stuff away from this silly little video. I do try and play Nightreign solo and with people, so if you're trying to, let's one of us figure out how to coordinate that. Hopefully not me, because I'm lazy, but also I'm lonely, so there's kind of a balancing act I have to do there. Not that that requires pity of me, I just feel like I usually need to say that when people wonder why I'm not being sociable. It sounds mean, but it's literally not you, it's me. So, all in all, Executor is a fun character to play. I don't think he's the strongest Nightfarer in the game. Not really. In my opinion, that's Iron Eye. But Executor can kind of just delete Crucible Knights, as you saw, which makes him feel like one of the best Nightfarers in the game. Maybe my metric of using high health enemies as displays the level of quality of a Nightfarer isn't perfect, but I actually find my runs to be incredibly consistent with Executor, which to me is a highly desirable quality of any character in any action game or otherwise. Like, one of my main problems in getting shit RNG as a character like Duchess and having that be the main factor of continuance of a run isn't always fun. Executor's got a nice starting weapon that inflicts bleed, so you won't have trouble dealing damage with him ever. And on top of that, his skill is another sword with a deflect mechanic. One trait of that is it's literally another weapon, which does damage. But additionally, having the ability to parry any enemy into the game into a stance break is what makes Executor extremely reliable. And since consistency is desirable, maybe that will make Executor your favorite Nightfarer. Continuing on with the theme of consistency, his ult too. Man, he's consistent. Having his alt aspect of the Crucible be a controllable transformation also adds to the predictability factor of Executor runs. Executor's passive is also reliable, but not necessarily useful, which isn't amazing, but I still find it pretty easy to get by with Executor. And since theme is now a part of the discussion with this character, I feel like it's probably relevant to tie it back into their story, since Executor is a character with kind of a mysterious past. It makes sense that he would be quick at killing enemies, but also if you know anything about his Remembrance questline, I think the fact that he has several different facets to the way he plays meshes well with the story you're told when you play it out. So if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. It's a cool story, and I think Fromsoft has kind of done something of a crazy job at telling compelling stories in Nightreign, which to me was a game that seemed to be inherently built on a gimmick at first, and I didn't even expect gameplay this good out of it, let alone stories as compelling as Nightreign features. So Executor's Remembrance is really great and one of my favorites. Question mark? I don't know. They're all so good. I need to do a deeper dive into the lore of this game. It's really way more interesting than I was giving it credit for, but that's all really. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you around.